Hey guys, Cyrus Fiene here with the Cyrus Fiene team at Coldwell Banker Bain, and today I'm kicking off the first of many weekly market updates for here in Seattle. So you may have noticed my casual attire today, wearing the USA soccer jersey and my Sounders FC jacket. The reason I'm wearing these is in celebration of Seattle being a host city in the 2026 World Cup and the very recent announcement this week of the dates that Seattle is actually going to be hosting games. I'm very excited about this. I'm excited to experience Seattle as a host city in World Cup 2026. And of course, I'm going to try to go to a game here. And I think it would be awesome to go to a game in Vancouver or Toronto, as well as somewhere in Mexico. I'd love to go to a game in Monterrey or Mexico City, for example. Let us know if you're coming to Seattle 2026 to experience the World Cup. Make sure to follow and subscribe. We're going to be putting a lot of content out there, not just for Seattle housing and real estate, but also how to really experience the city and get the most out of your time here. So let's get into the real estate. This first month in January of 2024, things actually picked up a lot more than I had originally anticipated. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that inventory is so tight. While I was out showing this weekend, showing my clients and going into open houses, I always like to ask the agents at the open house, how's it going? How's the activity been? And many of them were saying they gave up on keeping track as to how many people were coming in through the open house. I know one agent, she said she was clicking to count every single buyer that was walking through, and eventually she gave up after the 40 or 50 groups. So that was in about the $800,000 price range, and that's kind of what we're seeing between $600,000 and $1 million. The inventory has just gotten so low, even still coming off that winter low. We're just not seeing that much on the market, and as a result, all the buyers are kind of starting to look at the same, 5 properties, if you will. And one thing to note, inventory is fluctuating between 1.5 to 2 months worth of inventory right now in King County. And just as a reminder, when we say 1.5 to 2 months worth of inventory, that basically means that if no homes were to come on the market starting tomorrow, in 1.5 months or in 45 days, there'd be no homes on the market. So it's still a very inventory constrained market, not like necessarily what it was in early 2022. That's where we saw inventory bottom out at like 14 days, which was just why there was so much competition and insanity back then, as well as the rates, but that's a topic for another time. But right now we have about 1.5 to 2 months worth of inventory across single family homes and condominiums in King County. But the challenge that our clients have really been coming across is the fact that quality inventory and quality inventory specific to our clients' criteria has been the most challenging, right? There might be 1.5, 2 months worth of inventory, but I've had a couple clients over the last few weeks where we've been looking diligently every single day, and Friday, Saturday comes up and there's only one home to see that falls within their criteria. And for those few clients, them in particular, there's nothing particularly extremely unique about what they're looking for. 700 to $1 million in terms of a newer townhouse, modern construction townhouse in, say, Fremont, Ballard, Ravenna, Northgate area in North Seattle. And that's something that I've found to be the case over the last 6 months or so, which is just, the inventory is there, but when you start to really zero in on what our buyers are looking for in particular, that's when it's becoming difficult, because you start to narrow the scope down, and as you narrow the scope down, there's fewer and fewer homes involved, and all of a sudden you find 5 to look at. You see those 5, if they're not it, well, you've kind of seen everything and you're kind of waiting on the sidelines of the market to see what else comes out. That's not to be discouraged, of course. The beauty of the market is that if something is not on that you like today, it's very possible that next week it will be on. And a lot of it comes down to preparation and just being ready, so when the right one does come on, you feel like you have seen enough in the market to feel confident in your decision. So what I'm trying to get at is, it's totally okay if it takes, if you go out and you see 2 homes over the weekend. There doesn't have to be 15 homes to go look at. You can just have 2 or 3, and it only takes one to be the right house. So that's a really important mindset to be in, as opposed to feeling like you need to go see every single home on the market. For sellers, on the other hand, you're in the hot seat. As you just heard, there's not much inventory out there. So for the few properties that are on the market, the buyers who are out there and serious right now are all coming to see what's coming on the market. As a result, we're starting to see more offer review dates come back. Some sellers list their house with no offer review date and then all of a sudden see all the activity and implement an offer review date. We're also seeing a lot of kind of leftover inventory from last December and November, properties that have been on 60, 90 days start to get absorbed. Again, that's just another indication as a seller that buyers are back after the holidays and whatnot, holiday hangover, and they're looking at everything that's out there. So for sellers right now, I think it would be wise, if you're considering selling anytime here in the spring or summer, now's the time to certainly start that conversation. We meet with sellers way in advance, 6 months to advance, in advance sometimes, and that can be really advantageous. We prepare things so that if we see a shift in the market, we can move quickly and adapt to put you in the best position. Now, one of the reasons why I think there's kind of a buyer rush out there right now is the fact that the general consensus in the market, as well as, I share this opinion, which is rates are going to come down this year. So as the Fed slowly drops the interest rates, 30-year mortgage rates will start to come down as well. This week, a 30-year mortgage is at 6.64%. That is the lowest it's been since approximately last June. And I think there's a sentiment among buyers that I need to get in now before rates come down lower, and then it gets even more competitive. So it kind of goes back to that old trope of, well, would you rather pay 4% interest and pay $200,000 over the asking price, or would you rather pay roughly what the seller is asking and that value and have a high interest rate of 7%? And I do want to mention the average rate over the last 50 years is about 7%. So I say high, relatively speaking, in these last 10 years, but when you spread it out over the course of these last 50 years, we do find that high 6s, low 7s is where the rate kind of historically has settled out on average. So one statistic I want to point out today is the days to sell, and it sounds exactly like what it sounds like. It basically is the average number that it takes a property to sell, and we look at it on a monthly basis. So looking in the winter months, it's always really fascinating to see how the numbers kind of start to rise, right? As people are going on their holiday vacations and whatnot, the number of days on market start to rise, particularly in Seattle, where sun's setting at 3 p.m. And then, of course, those days on market start to come down. So as far as days to sell, we'll look at the data here, and this is for King County, both condos and single-family homes. And I really like looking at this data just because it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect in the coming months. Now, 2021 and 22 were a little unique in the sense that, as well as 2020, were unique in the sense that we had COVID going on, but this is the median days to sell. So by doing the median, we're kind of eliminating those outliers that are on the market for 300 days and those properties that are accepting offers within 24 hours. And you can very easily kind of tell the trend where December and January, the days to sell just are almost always the highest of the year. And then coming off of January into early spring, looking at February, March, April, it's you can see the strong indication kind of as we enter spring and buyers are coming into the market and then sellers are putting their properties on, it's the time of change and whatnot. Kids are getting out of school. And here are the numbers to kind of back that up. We experienced this year over year. And as a buyer, now could be the time to find the right place. You don't have to wait till there's a bunch on the market. And of course, as a seller, now's the time to prepare if you're getting ready. It can take a month or two to get get your home ready for sale and get you the highest price. So looking at the data, it's pretty clear that, the time to ramp up is now. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. I'm going to be trying to do this as I have time on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. That being said, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'd love to get some feedback, and if there's any topics you'd like me to cover or go more in depth on, definitely send me a message. I'm happy to do that. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.